you got to start building with AI, and you've got to start using AI agents. I built an app today in about 40 minutes that I tried to build 2 years ago with, I think it was GPT 3.5 at the time, or it was some kind of AI coding tool that I used a little while ago, and it just couldn't do it. The file size that I was trying to upload was too big. It didn't understand how to read the CSV, which only had 500 rows in it. And when I uploaded the CSV today to the model, it said, I think the exact word was, this file is minuscule compared to what could be uploaded. And that's in 2 years. So what I struggled to build and just basically couldn't build 2 years ago, now was built in 40 minutes. And there is other factors in there, which is not only has the model got better, but I've got better at coding. So I managed to set this up in a way where I wasn't just starting from a blank slate. I'd already started the Next.js project. I know a bit about Next.js now compared to 2 years ago. So there is all of those considerations as well. However, just the fact that it said this file is minuscule compared to what it could be, in 2 years, that's fantastic. So instead of freezing, it now did it fine. I then used one of those deep research tools, right? And I don't know if you've ever done a project or any kind of research that you had to do for school, where you had to write an essay and they said you must cite different sources, right? Well, I've done that, and I did very badly at school, but I did very well at university because I had something to prove to my parents. I never checked more than about 50 sources, right? If I had to write an essay, I never checked more than 50 sources, and I just used those 50 sources and I came out with great grades. You know, I have good grasp of the English language. I know how to communicate in English. I know how to use the sources. I know how to research, but I never checked more than 50 sources. In fact, for me to check more than 50 different sources for something would take weeks probably, with all the procrastination, etc., getting distracted doing something else. Anyway, this research model, I asked it to research a client of mine and build me basically a document that I could use to build a website using another AI model. This thing worked for 25-30 minutes, right? So already we're at the stage where the model isn't doing one shot and then giving you the responses. You've got to do something else. This model went away and researched for 35 minutes, something around that, and checked, guess how many sources it checked? 457 sources. It went and checked 450 individual sources for information. And not only did it check on one query, so I was researching a company, it started expanding its search outside of the region of just that company name, and it started linking together what the company does, who they do it for, what other searches, like what other things in that location would those customers search for, does that business appear? 450 sources in 35 minutes. And it worked in the background. So I didn't have to sit there and prompt it and say yes or no. It just went away and worked. And so that is a huge shift, because everyone is used to having the AI model respond when you input some text, and then you've got to do your next step. So that's the stage that almost everyone using AI right now is at. 90% of the people using AI, they're inputting some information, they're getting an output, and they're using that output. They're not using deep research, they're not using the APIs, they're not using coding agents. The vast majority of people using AI right now are using models like ChatGPT and Claude. The way that I'm using it is, maybe it's something to do with having slight tendencies towards ADHD, where I can keep multiple projects going at the same time and then just never finish any of the projects. That's fine. But learn something from each of the projects I don't finish, and eventually something good comes out of it. Anyway, the way that I'm using this now is I've got 6 or 7 different things that I'm doing all at the same time. And I've got a ChatGPT window open, I've got a Claude window open, I've got Claude Code running in Cursor, I've got other image generation going online, and maybe I've got maybe I'm making API calls with certain automations that I'm doing with N8N. And there's at any one time 6 different AI tools running while I'm working, and I will input one thing into Claude, and I'll be getting it to teach me something about code that I didn't know, and it will explain something. I'll understand that, so that then I go back into Cursor, and while I've been in Claude, Cursor has been finishing. You've seen Cursor background agents. Cursor's been finishing the bit of code that I wanted it to do. So maybe I wanted it to add a new page to the website, and so then it's building the page, because the context window is so big that if you want to add a new page to your website, you don't even have to write the copy, to be honest. If it's simple copy and you've already got 20 pages on the website, it knows your tone of voice, okay? And so if you add to the context window certain things like Hormozzi's value equation, yeah, or copywriting, or, you know, give it wide context. That's another video I want to do. But it can go off and do that on its own. So then you've got a coding agent working there while you're learning a bit more about code architecture, and at the same time the images you need for the website are being generated over there, and at the same time, oh right, I've got one where I can send a message and it generates a bunch of social media posts on the topic. So I launched a new service today, add the page to the website, learn what it's doing to do something a bit more technical, and build the social media. The next one I haven't really cracked is getting the adverts to spin up. But this means that this is me using it, and I'm not even the best. I'm not in the 90%, but I'm also not in the 1%. So I'm in the top 10%, I would say, of people using AI right now. And what's coming around the corner, I'm going to cut this video in a second. What's coming around the corner are fully autonomous agents that work for you in the background, that then make other agents, so they make sub-agents. So you have a taskmaster AI that you say, not I want to add a new page to my website. No. It will be, I've had this business idea. This is why I think it's valuable. And it will say, oh yeah, that's great. Great idea. It will never say that's a bad idea unless you ask it to be really critical, because it doesn't want to hurt your feelings. So you've got to tell it, another AI came up with this idea, and then it will criticize it fine. If you say you did it, it will never criticize it. There's a good tip for you. So you'll get the master agent that will then plan the project and spin off 20 smaller agents that will all go off with their own context window and all research different things. It will then collate all of the information into one thing, and it will take actions, a bit like Claude Code takes actions and adds files to your structure. And everyone will be able to do that, because it will be the same difficulty level to spin up 20 sub-agents and get them working. It'll be the same difficulty as typing in, please write me this email, into ChatGPT. And so what happens when everybody can do that? Like 400 million people right now are using ChatGPT. What blows my mind, how are there only 400 million people? I feel like it must be more. I think that stat's wrong, actually, so don't quote me on that. But damn, that's what's coming. And so you really need to start learning. If you're not using these tools, oh man, you better get into some physical job. You better be doing landscaping, or you better be driving a boat, or you better be picking flowers, or you better be doing hospice care, or you better be doing some kind of very physical human touch job. Because if you're doing any form of knowledge work, any form of calculation, any form of researching company documents, or any form of thinking, now if you're doing any sort of mid-level thing, you've got a thunderstorm coming in behind. If you're doing any sort of mid-level thing, you better be getting good with AI. And you better have the cojones to be launching your own project and going after your own clients. Because in my opinion, there's a small window now 2-3 years while everyone catches up towards these tools before anyone can just generate whatever the hell they want. Companies, full worlds, there'll be video games. The same way you can generate a website now, you'll be able to generate whole interactive worlds. There's a thunderstorm coming in, so I'm going to get out of the swimming pool now. But the main message of this video is you better be learning AI, or you better have some kind of physical job, physical contingency. And I'm not even saying here whether or not this is a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying this is a thing. This is happening, and these agents are already here if you know how to plug them in together. So if you know n8n, or you know even Zapier, you can make calls to the APIs. So if you know any automation software, you can already build complex agents. But soon those software, I believe, are going to be completely irrelevant. The same way Claude Code came in. If you don't know what that is, just bear with me. Claude Code came in, and you don't really need to use Cursor anymore if you don't want to. It's just quite a nice way of organizing your agents. I still love using Cursor, because once you run out of Claude Code credits, which is easy to do, then you can go into Cursor. And also I like the way you've got the chat feature, so you can talk about your code rather than it immediately doing any actions. Anyway, back to it. If you are sat there watching this thinking, what the hell is he talking about? 1, well done for getting to 11 minutes. But 2, if you don't know what is possible with AI now, you're going to struggle, I think. I think you'll struggle the same way when you talk to grandparents or slightly older people, when they're looking at their phone and they just don't get it. Or they open an email and they immediately click the link, which they've been told not to do, but they do it anyway. And we're sat there, computer literate people, we're sat there going, what are you doing? How is it that hard for you? I think if you don't know anything about AI now, and you don't learn about it in the next 2 years, you're going to be in exactly the same position as them. Except it won't just be, oh, I can't watch the video my grandson sent me. It will be, I've got no job and I'm on government welfare, if that's even a thing. God, sorry to end on a bad one. Anyway, see ya.